going to get buck wild right now. Going to try and record 2 of these things today. Got to record the one for the Friday fitness files and then wrap this one up. So we'll see how that goes. Never done this before. Could be crazy. Could be nothing at all. I think this first one will be short. I had a couple ideas on my mind and kind of related to originally when I started the podcast, which was the no lists. So we'll get into that. Finished up the third workout from CrossFit's Community Cup, which was, you had 20 minutes to get to a heavy front squat and then do a heavy hang power clean. You know, which was funny, and actually now that I'm talking about this reminds me of, I follow this guy on Instagram, Tommy Gaines, and I like a lot of what he posts. He just looks like he's just some strong bench or deadlifter, power lifter, really strong. Just posts all these goofy videos. Like they're always something like, how many, twisted teas do I have to drink to make me smile? And it always ends with him like making some like absolutely ridiculous food and then eating it. Anyway, Tommy Gaines, all Z's at the end. Check it out. But one of the things I really like is that recently he posted this video that said, your old PRs don't exist, let go. And the reason I am thinking about this is because we're doing the lifts today for the lift-off, or not the lift-off, the Community Cup. Lift-off was an old CrossFit competition. Anyway, doing the lifts for the Community Cup, and I think it might have been Brentney or somebody in the gym asked, what was your old front squat PR? Because she ended up lifting heavier than she said she had in a while, which was cool. And in my head, I was like, geez, probably like 380. And she was like, well, what percentage could you lift to that now? And I'm like, my God, I'd hope I'd be able to hit 80%. I'd be pretty happy with that. I don't do a ton of lifting. And it's funny. It's like that question, even putting weight on the bar, I don't like talking about it. And it's, I get it. Everybody's gonna be like, well, there is something you could do about it. Totally true. But I think to some extent, some of that old stuff you got to let go of, in the sense that if you ever want to get back to it, surpass it, it's there as evidence that it happened, but you can't just keep lying to yourself that like that is your PR anymore. So, because if you believe that it is your PR, because it's not, I think you're less likely to put in the hard work to get back to it. You can use it as something to chase for sure. But I think I can't walk around anymore and be like, well, my PR front squat is 380, and because it's not even close to that. Anyway, I just thought it was this guy did a post about it, and he just was basically like, by holding on to these dated achievements, are we holding on to the past and it's entirely simultaneously entombing a part of yourself with the intertwined sorrows of these times that we worked so hard to surmount? Both good times, bad times, you just got to let them go. And he calls everybody swolgers. Anyway, I really like his account. And he actually, I don't know how serious this post, or I don't know. I trust it. So what I liked about it was, it just seemed honest. It was definitely a different beat from what he normally posts, which is just like joke content. He's still strong as hell. I think he deadlifts 500 pounds pretty easily in the video. But it's hard because he knows what he could do in the past. And I think sometimes when you have these huge benchmarks in the past and you really look up to them, or they took a long time to get to you, or they have a lot of accolades attached to them, it's and then you don't have those things now, it's maybe hard to see what other areas you've improved in, but also sometimes just hard to swallow having let those things go or lost those. So I don't know, but you do gotta accept them, acknowledge them, and then move past them. I think so too. So anyway, I thought that was really cool. Cool concept was, your old PRs don't exist. Let them go. Find new ones, make new ones, chase new ones. Maybe chase the old ones and beat them. But the old ones are not there anymore. Okay, why did that? Oh, because of the Community Cup lifting. So we did 20 wall walks, 10 rope climbs from a seated position. You could use your legs. Then we rested a couple minutes. Then we went into the 20 minutes to find a heavy front squat and a heavy hang power clean. I hit 315 on the front squat, which actually felt much better than expected. And then hang power cleaned 250, and excited that thing still sucks because I love working on my power cleans. So that's an excuse to do more power cleans. I don't know if I've talked about this one before, but if I have, I'm going to talk about it again. And we finally wrapped up all the details on the house project of the dog shower we were doing. And it took months to finish. And that's because we kept changing things and used weekends to do other things. And it's not a huge project, but it was cool. It's cool to finish it. We're really happy with it. I think it's excited to do more house projects, taught me some new skills, showed me weaknesses I have and skills I thought I had. But I was thinking about the Parkinson's law, and Parkinson's law came from a fellow C. Northcote Parkinson. So he was a real dweeb. No disrespect. Back in the 50s, wrote an essay, and one of the things he wrote in it was that work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. If you wait till the last minute, it only takes a minute to do. And all of us that were in high school or college and, wrote the term paper or the book report the night before all understand this and are proof of this. And they go on to say that in 10 hours a day, you have time to fail twice as far. In 10 hours a day, you have time to fall twice as far behind your commitments as in 5 hours a day. Oh man, I love this. And this, it's another good one because I think about clutter and I get a little maybe too preoccupied with it sometimes. But it says, relating to computers, data expands to fill the space available. Think of all the photographs and things you have on your phone that you scroll through that, at the end of the day, you're never going to look at again. All of those photographs of fireworks and that you took from inside your car with your window rolled up. You're never going to look at that shit again, and nobody wants to see them. Don't fool yourself. So I just thought this was interesting because, again, one of the kicks for me was in doing this podcast was that when I was putting something on a list and I gave myself all this time to do it, I was giving myself 10 hours a day, and I had time to fall twice as far behind my commitments as in 5 hours a day. And I think there are definitely some projects and things you do and work on that need more time. But honestly, we probably give ourselves too much time to do certain things, and that's why they drag on. So I've always liked thinking about this law, and I've definitely noticed this recently over the last year, projects I've worked on, things I've done, where I've really seen this pop up. And I've liked the attitude in getting things done of could I start and finish this project today? And typically those are the projects I'll prioritize, because I think if I get involved in the project that's takes more than a day, it can be challenging for us humans with our little brains that aren't great at conceptualizing time all of the time to giving way more leeway and time to completing something that it actually needs, and it takes forever. And then those projects we could have got done quickly, we put off altogether. And so it was funny because, last week's Fitness Fridays, one of the questions was how do you oversimplify, or how do you avoid overcomplicating fitness and training? I think this goes to any good habit. You just start doing it. And I think one of the really good things is sometimes it's really exciting to share our goals and habits with people. But I think one of the things to do is just for a little while, do it in private. And that's because you could screw it up really badly and no one will ever know. If you're a really harsh critic of yourself, this can be kind of tough. If you have somebody you trust and can be an accountability buddy and who'll just shoot you a text and say, hey man, did you do X, Y, and Z today? No, I didn't yet. Hey, just give it a shot. Okay. And that's why I think just when I was thinking about overcomplicating fitness, one of the other things that's attached to Parkinson's law, or one of the things you can do, is really set rigid time standards on yourself to get fitness done. This is something that when I was way off the rails with not training, because I was just kind of got sucked into the mindset, if I couldn't have it one way, what's the point of doing it at all? Even though there are so many other benefits that I get from fitness, as I've been reminded by many friends, if I work out, I'm just generally a nicer person, and that matters. But I think one of the things that's really important for this is just I had really rigid time. I'm going to fit fitness in when it's like, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to brush my teeth, drink some water, walk the dogs, hang out with the dogs. I have a meeting at this time. And so it would slam into this really tiny window that I had to get the fitness done. So you just get down to business. You wouldn't stand in the gym fucking around being like, well, I could do this movement. And then what if I also wanted to work on this goal? It's like, no. You just got to do this right now. And Cassandra is so good at this. I'll maybe miss my morning workout. I'll be off the rails. And I'm like, I'm just not going to work out today. I can work out tomorrow. And that's literally you living Parkinson's law, because now you've given yourself another 20 hours to work out. All right, I'll just push it. I'll push it down the road. We'll push it to tomorrow. No. And she's very good at being like, hey, I got X minutes before my next meeting or before this. Let's work out right now. And I go through this deliberation of like, well, and most of the time what I've started to do is just like the other day this happened. We did the second community cup workout. I was just in my clothes, like normal. I don't wear like suits and shit, but I can still do that, but I don't, very rarely. I was in like, hybrid stretchy shorts, and I was in probably a t-shirt, but that was like my work day clothes. I just went and worked out immediately. No warm up, just got it done. And because I gave myself this really rigid time. And that's one thing that's really helped me in not overcomplicating fitness. And then as I was reading in Parkinson's law, I stumbled on this other thing I think this guy came up with called the law of triviality. And I really like this one. But anyway, the law of triviality was the argument that people within an organization commonly give disproportionate weight to trivial issues. I could go on and on about this one. I care less about it in terms of an organization. But if you want to get on the Wikipedia, the article is pretty insightful. It's got some cool little links. But the case study and the example they use of how people in the organization focus on this is really interesting. But the general concept is that we, commonly giving disproportionate weight to trivial issues. Here's a great example. I can't work out because I don't have my workout clothes. You're doing burpees and sit-ups. Like, what do you don't need any, what do you need to have for that? I can't do X, Y, and Z because of this small issue. Okay. And I really liked this one too, because it was just a nice reminder that when it comes to building a new habit, it truly is the exercise, not the details, that gets it rolling. And I also think like, what is, I really like the low barrier of entry. Like, what is the least thing you need, or what's the least amount of stuff you need to make this choice, to move forward? Well, I just need this one thing. Cool. Grab that, come back. We're going to work out. So that was another thing I thought was interesting. This one doesn't necessarily give us any answers to like how to maybe get over overthinking things, but it was just a really good reminder that, it's easy for us humans to start thinking about all of these trivial issues and obsessing over them, because the complex issues are challenging. The big issues are challenging. And in the article, it goes on to say, where was it? There was a cool little line here that basically said, we tend to spend more time on small decisions than we should, and less time on big decisions than we should. During the process of making a decision, one has to assess whether enough information has been collected to make the decision. If people make mistakes about whether they have enough information, they will tend to feel overwhelmed by large and complex matters and stop collecting information too early to adequately inform their big decisions. And this can lead to, conversely, for small decisions, people should devote little attention and act without hesitation. They may inefficiently continue to ponder for too long. This is paralysis by analysis, partly because they are better able to understand the subject. So that I thought was kind of interesting too, is like, because even if we understand a subject really well, it can be too easy to just focus on the small details of it. This is one thing that's helped me in life, but also in coaching. If somebody kind of asks me a question, this can probably be annoying because I think sometimes people like direct answers, but somebody will ask me a question like in the gym of, hey, I want to be able to do X. I want to get better at pull-ups. And, it's really easy as a coach to like spiral down this rabbit hole like here's why you should get better at pull-ups, and here are all the specific ways to get better at pull-ups. And one of the things I found myself asking when I get these questions is like, what are you willing to do to get pull-ups? And they're like, I'm going to do 3 extra workouts a week. Cool. Here's what I'm going to give you, right? Because you've confined yourself to something where you can't just blather on about all of these little details of it that you know really well. And so I thought that was interesting. I like the idea of with the small decisions, act without hesitation. Something I really liked, I saw in a podcast with Jeff Bezos, and I've heard this from a friend who works at Amazon, and she was saying this whole one-way, two-way door principle. With these small decisions or decisions that don't have a ton of ramifications, you could unwind them easily. You just commit and go, right? Because it's a two-way door. You can always walk it back if it's way off the rails. And the more I've tried to bring this to my life, the better my life has been for sure. Hey, I don't know, what do we want to get, do we want to go take this left or take this right to go to this destination? Let's just go left. Really easy thing to change in a lot of cases. Where, identifying, is this a one-way door decision? Or as this guy talks about here, is this one of those like really big complex decisions? Those are the ones we kind of spend a little bit more time digging in. But while you're digging in, don't stop making other, maybe related two-way door decisions. And I've really enjoyed this, thinking about it for myself. I think, I've talked about this in the past, and I've heard this manifest in a couple of different ways from other mentors in my life. Some people say like just make the next best decision. Other places I've seen this referred to as like just one step at a time. But it is something you can certainly practice. And for some of us, depending on experiences we've had in our life, it can be harder or easier. I really like it. It's helped me a ton with my fitness. And just constantly reminding myself that doing the fitness at this stage of my life is way more important than finding the perfect fitness. Similar, like just with projects around the house, when I roasted our lawn last year and just destroyed it, it just sat out there and was totally nuked. And I spent so much time trying to figure out like, what is the best way to do this and this and this. And really, I kind of knew what I had to do is I had to tear all the dead grass and the thatch off and rejuvenate the soil with some better soil and get seed down and, some topsoil on top of that and just water the shit out of it. And I know the soil experts out there are probably like rolling over, but that was like the least I needed to do to get it going. And then I could start learning. And there's just other little examples of this. We all have those things throughout our day, these small decisions that we're just stuck on. And, it just like, it almost like pains us a little bit. So just make a decision. If it's something that you could unwind and do differently almost immediately and just see what happens. I bet things will get better. Bet things will get better for you. And then spend some time really identifying what are the complex big decisions. So that's where my head was at today. Don't give yourself too much time to finish tasks because you'll just keep adding more time and you'll wait till the last minute to do it anyway. So why not start it now? All right. I'm going to go hit this second podcast because I said I would. We'll see how that goes. More tomorrow.